Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Suit Up Geek Fix podcast. Bro, I swear to God, this was the fastest week of my life since we've been here. We got another WandaVision episode, the ultimate episode, boys. We are in the final week territory of WandaVision. But before we get into the show, I just want to announce something real quick for you guys. We just want to show our love and support for all of our viewers that come by each and every week. Leave a comment, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. So we partnered with Steve's Cards and Collectibles. He's a store on eBay, and starting with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series on March 19th, every week we will try to give away something new, or trying to get something within that Marvel sphere. We don't know exactly what it is yet, but we'll let you know in a few weeks. But guys, we have got the Pan-Ultimate episode on our hands. This was a very Wanda-centric episode. This was the episode I feel like a lot of people kind of wanted right after she was introduced in Age of Ultron. This was the episode where we just learn her life kind of, and we see the entire event that led to her parents dying because of Tony Stark dropping a defective bomb on their house. Tell me that's not the luckiest shit in the world for I think it was like 7 days or so. But yeah, so guys, there's just so many things to talk about. Who wants to just start us off here?
I want to say, first of all, we do not know if that was actually defective or if Wanda stopped it unconsciously. So I just want to say that. But Deibs, you can go ahead and start us off.
Powers. I freaked out. Hey, go ahead, Deibs.
First up, you got to start with Elizabeth Olsen. Somehow seriously deserves like some kind of award after this week's episode. She's been amazing this entire series. Not my number one, Tiana. That goes to Tiana Paris. But man, like just top to bottom, just an amazing performance by Elizabeth Olsen. I always said like that these episodes truly click when they're addressing Wanda's past history of trauma. And what did we get, guys? We got just a heartbreaking episode. You just gotta feel for Wanda. Like I watched this at 5 a.m. in the morning, and I remember just like around 5:45, just completely broken. My reaction to this was I was broken. I was heartbroken. We talked about it during the last hour pods, how this was gonna happen. We didn't even get the big one yet, which is coming next week. But you got to just feel for Wanda and how alone she was. You think about it, like Wanda was snapped back. You have Tony, Nat, Vision all dead. Cap is gone. Clint's the only really one that's like kind of off on his own, and Falcon and Winter Soldier are doing their own show, and she's literally alone. So it just makes it even more sad. This is the best episode of the series to date. And I want to give a quick nod to Christoph Beck, the show's composer, because he probably doesn't get enough love. A lot of his music so far this series has been like catchy jingles and fun little stuff like that. As great as the acting was in this episode, that score, man, in this episode, I just finished my second watch. It is so good. This is a guy that did the 2 Frozen and Ant-Man movies. Christoph Beck, I see you, dude. That was awesome stuff. Great episode. Elizabeth Olsen led the way.
Yeah, guys, we've got some massive stuff to talk about between Elizabeth Olsen's performance, Catherine Hahn as Agatha Harkness, so many crazy things. But there's one thing we did get an answer for, and that's why is this show a sitcom? So we found out through the little flashback, whatever they want to call that, where they went back to Wanda's childhood and Pietro's childhood. And it seemed like a family ritual to watch sitcoms. And we saw Malcolm in the Middle was the most prominent one, I'd say. I saw that one a few times. I didn't see them all. Do you guys remember any of the ones we saw based off of the other episodes?
Dick Van Dyke and I Love Lucy.
Yeah,
like essentially like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of a heartwarming reason. I didn't know what. I don't really think any of us really knew how they were going to explain the sitcom. And at the end of the day, I feel like they did do it the best way possible, a way that really fit Wanda and gives a lot more backstory to characters we never really even knew, especially Pietro, even though he was in one movie. Sorry, dude. You just got no second lives here. But yeah, we see their relationship with their parents too. So even in the darkest city of Sokovia, with all this crime and stuff, they still had that happy little family that was rooted off the American dream, I'll call it, with all these American sitcoms showing what the average American family is. And I just think that's a great, great reason to be in a sitcom. What was your thoughts on the sitcom reveal, why they were in the sitcom? Go up.
Real quick before I answer that, I just want to say what's up to everybody in the chat. Can we highlight Sydney's comment, the one right above that?
Oh, man,
And I saw some complaints initially when the episode dropped. Some people were complaining like, "Oh, nothing happened." But look, this show is called WandaVision, Wanda first, and Wanda is essentially the protagonist of this story. And I feel like it was essential for us to dig into her psyche, to dig into her emotions, because we got bits and pieces of it the first 6 episodes, but now we are really, she's in her trauma, she's in her emotions, and we as the audience are feeling everything as we flash back with her. By the way, I love that format. So to tie in the sitcoms, I thought was heartwarming in a sense that it connected to her parents. Like, it wasn't for no reason. It wasn't a gimmick that we had WandaVision, the show. It was embedded in her childhood, her memories, and her trauma from her parents' death. So, to speak to what you're asking, Rye, I just think that the sitcoms mean so much more to us than what we first thought. I thought initially it seemed a little gimmicky, but seeing the root of it was really touching.
I agree. Yeah. I'm not the biggest sitcom fan. I just wanted to get to the meat and potatoes of the show. And by the way, did you guys see that at the end credit scene, there was no "please stand by"? That seemed like it was removed. So you can throw away sitcom out the window because you're not going to be seeing that in the finale. But I'm just going to piggyback off of what you said, Loretto. I really loved how they really touched on her experience and upbringing as a child. Those were her happiest memories as a child, and her experiences with her family in Sokovia, and just to see it like literally and metaphorically blow up in her face. That was a really good way to cement the sitcom element in this show.
No, yeah. Honestly, Deibs, I couldn't agree more. AJ, do you have any thoughts and opinions on the way they connected the sitcoms?
No, you guys literally said all my thoughts exactly. So I agree with you all. So
yeah, I know this is going to be a little something to say because this show has had really good set design just throughout the entire season. But for some reason, I found the set design in this episode to be the best. I don't know why, but I felt like I was there more so than more of the other episodes, especially in the set when the bomb crashed through their apartment and they're all just, not all, Wanda and Pietro are sitting there just staring at the bomb, waiting for it to go off. Between Agatha's lair, we're just going to call it right now, and then having them walk through each different I don't even know what to call that either. Past memory. I just thought it was really well done and the best I saw this season. I don't know if anyone agrees or really thought about that, but I just want to give the show some thought out there. But let's go to a little bit of some thoughts. Do we think Agatha is 100% controlling this? Because I was really expecting the ending of this episode, instead of doing the Scarlet Witch name reveal, which we will talk about later, I really thought that they were going to give us the final curtain villain. So do we think that there is a final curtain villain anymore, and they're really waiting till the last second to reveal who it is for Doctor Strange 2 possibly? Or is it Agatha Harkin and she's actually the villain that transfers over to Doctor Strange 2?
Well, we've already said this, that Agatha was going to be the main villain for WandaVision, but she's not like the main villain.
Yeah,
not the one that's pulling the strings.
Not the person behind the curtains.
Yeah. So I still believe that it's either going to be Dormammu, that's going to be like the overall villain, or Nightmare, or Mephisto. It doesn't really matter at this point to me. But I do believe that it's gonna be one of those three as like the big bad, to end the trilogy off with Multiverse of Madness. But for now, I'm happy that Agatha is the polar opposite of Wanda. The way she grew up, the way just everything that she's gone through, with that past sequence at the beginning of the show, I thought was a great way to what is it? It's a great way to like give us confidence that Agatha is one of like the most powerful witches in the MCU. And not only that, it gives a little bit of backstory. It doesn't tell us like tooth and nail that Wanda is a witch, but it does like give us hints that she is a witch. Lo, you said this earlier that it was hinting at mutants. The reason why I don't believe she's a mutant right now is because of the what is it? The symbols, the magical stuff. Yeah, the hexes in the lair. Wanda wasn't able to use her powers because of that, because she is a witch, not a mutant. If she was a mutant, then she would still be able to use her powers, I would say.
Okay. Can we get into that?
Yeah, we can get into that. Yeah.
I do think that she is a mutant. I thought this confirmed that it was the Mind Stone that unlocked her abilities in this one. So I agree that like, well, Doctor Strange can do magic. Like, does that mean Doctor Strange is a mutant? I just think that magic people are like a different class now, and I just think that it's that trauma, it's that like pain and sorrow that releases that mutant gene and gives you those powers. So I do think that this was the first confirmation that she is a mutant, and we're gonna get the ball rolling moving forward on that one. So I do think that that's where this is going. You see Wanda really truly hit rock bottom, and that was the Mind Stone getting her ball rolling as a mutant.
One of the biggest sorry, you can go ahead, Lo. I'll talk.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I interpreted it kind of differently because I feel like the way that Agatha phrased it, she said it was a protection spell. So I don't think she was necessarily hindering Wanda's powers. It's just that the hexes were protecting Agatha. I think that could have been anybody in front of her, and their powers would have been limited. So
it wasn't limited. It was.
I'm going to be the Debbie Downer, and I'm just going to say that I'm not even going to say either one because I feel like the MCU, or at least the writers, haven't given us enough of a definition to what's really going on between Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, we can call her now, and an actual fucking witch. I feel like there's go ahead, Deibs.
I totally forgot. Massive credit to Ryan. You nailed it last week, and I don't.
Did I?
You nailed it. That
he doesn't even remember what he said.
I don't remember.
By Agatha, and you nailed it.
Wait, what did I say? Say it again. You cut out.
You said Agatha was going to give Wanda the Scarlet Witch name.
Hey, I just listened to the episode. I can confirm.
Yeah. Hell
well done, Ryan.
I do want to touch on Ryan's point a little bit, where he says that the witches and mutants haven't been defined technically in the MCU right now. That's one of the reasons why I don't think that she's a mutant at this point in time, because if we remember correctly, WandaVision was written way before X-Men and just all of the Fox moved over to Disney and Marvel. So technically he couldn't write in mutants until everything was processed and stuff like that. That's why I still believe that.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get. Oh, sorry, AJ.
You can go ahead. You can go
ahead.
No,
I was just gonna say that. I just think we're not really gonna start hearing the mutant name or really start referring to people as mutants until they finish the X-Men script, so they can start connecting everything. I feel like we're still a little too early on that, especially for the time that WandaVision was written, which is probably a year at this point, I would assume. So I'm going to go with AJ's point then, since that's where I see my I lean on, since I don't have a definitive answer.
Can we take a left turn? I want to speak to Sonny's comment, which
Yeah.
I think is pretty interesting.
Ooh, yeah.
He asked, why couldn't the witches kill Agatha? Is it because she's stronger than the rest of them or something else?
So
and I think that's very
she's
interesting.
cut by evil. I think she's cut by evil.
I feel like she messed around with some dark magic. She was taking their life force.
Yeah.
Like Shang Tsung
She
style.
absorbed, she absorbed their power.
Take
Yeah.
their
That's
soul.
exactly what
I
she
love
did.
it.
No,
I
she
love
didn't
Agatha.
take her body. She legit took their life force away from them.
Yeah, she absorbed.
It wasn't
That's
just
the word.
So I absorbed their body through the energy shots they were doing.
I just find that so fascinating how she's so curious about Wanda's powers. That's clearly her motive, is to take Wanda's powers. But meanwhile, she's kind of like doing like almost an experiment herself. Like she's trying to see what Wanda's capable of. And that's why we see like with Sparky, the scene where Sparky died. And she was like, you can resurrect people? Like she's learning Wanda's power kind of as we watch everything kind of unfold as it is. So that was really cool seeing Agatha's motive finally show up. She's clearly, her motive is to absorb Wanda's powers. And I honestly think that Agatha is going to get her ass kicked in this last episode.
I don't think so. I think that
Deibs, you bring up a good point. So if we remember, I don't remember if it was Elizabeth Olsen or Kevin Feige that said this, but this series does not end with like a typical season finale where it wraps things up, because it connects to all these other films. So I'm going to say whatever happens, they're just going to leave it in the middle of something. I don't even think that we're going to get any closure at the end of the season, which sucks, because we're going to have to wait till December, at least if things go to plan, before we get any more multiverse stuff. But that's where I am on it.
The ultimate cliffhanger. Remember, I think it was it The Hobbit that had like this major cliffhanger, and then we couldn't watch it until like. No, a better example is Infinity War. Infinity War had like this major cliffhanger, and then we couldn't watch it until
Bro, that was the most
year.
painful year of my life waiting for that next film.
Hey, real quick,
they showed Captain Marvel, and you were like, "Who the hell cares?"
I feel like Justin's comment right there down below. Let's get to that a little bit later, but I do want to say, whatchamacallit? Shoot, I lost my train of thought. Go ahead. Keep it going.
Well, I think the other question mark, can I like throw one before we get into the after credit scene, because it was so cool. What do you guys think about Pietro now? Is Pietro?
I called that.
Are you confident part of the
confident
universe, or is he just plucked in some rando?
I am confident. I'm 100% confident he is just a random person Agatha created. I am 100% confident of that.
I agree with AJ. I think he's just a minion. I really think that's what he is.
I know people are excited for the X-Men going into the MCU, but it's not time for that right now. First of all, why would they put X-Men into an MCU series that's on Disney Plus instead of?
Have you guys seen Uncut Gems?
Yeah.
I feel like Kevin Garnett. Like, why the fuck would you show it to me if I can't have it? Like, I feel teased. I got X-Men blue balls, man. Those are my heroes. Like,
no, I'm happy.
Hey, watch the X-Men animated series on Disney Plus. You'll be fine.
I'm really happy with the massive tease, because I want the X-Men so bad to be their own. I want them to grow Rogue. I want them to grow Storm, Cyclops. Like, I'm sorry. Even though Evan Peters in the X-Men Fox universe is terrific, and having like 1-2 minute action scene of him running around would be fantastic. Nah, man, I'm ready to move on. Turn the page.
They're gonna give us new actors for these X-Men characters. It's not gonna be Patrick Stewart. It's not gonna be Hugh Jackman. Even though so many people really want that, it's not gonna happen.
Well, can I present you guys a question?
No.
Would you guys hate this or love this? Like, what if
love it
next week? What if next week Evan Peters says, all right, well, I'll see you guys later, and like whoever it is, Doctor Strange or whoever it is, sends him home? Would that be satisfying to you guys?
I think
he's going to disappear. I think he's just going to vanish. If Agatha loses, I think that the character of Evan Peters is going to vanish.
Okay, so there will be
Yeah.
no inkling of, I'm
No.
returning to where I came from.
Yeah,
And that's
he's
why-
not from a different universe. He's just a random person.
Yeah.
Is that not why? Should we talk about White Vision?
No. I want to bring up something before we bring up after credit scene. So this was the biggest shock to me. I don't know why. This was a bigger shock than White Vision to me. And that's how we really found out how Vision came back to life. I that was the biggest shock of the episode for me, because obviously it just seems like Wanda hijacked him from the sword facility. We see in all the trailers, it's been hinted to us and all that other stuff. I lost my train of thought. Thanks a lot, Lo. But you know what? I gained it back. No, I didn't. I did not gain it back. What was I talking about? Nah, dude, I'm gonna get it back. No, I'm gonna get it back. No, I got it.
Wait.
So,
Okay, go ahead.
So I got it. So what do you guys think on how they brought Vision back?
All right. Anyone
Do you
wanna
guys
go?
like it? Do you think they
I love
kind of?
it.
Do you
I
think
Well,
love
I
they
like it because
overcomplicated
he does die and return in the comics as White Vision. But I have an interesting question for everybody. Like, what the hell is the Vision in WandaVision? Because he seems so true to the character, and he even escaped the Hex and asked for help. Like, and even the children, like, I'm just so curious, like, what are these creations? Like, how much of that is Wanda, and how much of that is like a real thing? Like,
So
See-
this AJ, go first, man.
Okay, so the way I see it with Vision, at least, is that because Vision came from Wanda, he was able to escape because that's from her power. Everybody else can escape because they're already there instead of like created. They're already there, but being what is it, mind controlled, I guess you could say, and being created a false reality instead of all of that. But with Vision, I think that need of escaping is a little bit from Wanda. I think that she does want to escape that reality and face her truth, but ultimately she can't without that little push, and that's where Agatha comes in. I think that's the main reason why Agatha's there, is because
I feel like I'm reading too much into it, but it's just fascinating to me that it feels like the WandaVision Vision has his own brain, has his own feelings. It's just fascinating to me.
see, I don't think I think that's an extension of Wanda. I don't think that's his own personality. I think that's Wanda's personality, and they're conflicting.
Okay,
So-
that's a good point.
So what I think's gonna happen, it's kind of obvious that this is the setup for like Vision to finally be gone out of the MCU. I really feel like this is what the setup is. But I feel like in the next episode, Agatha or someone's gonna do some sort of witchery bullshit, and it's gonna save the kids from being like zapped away from the Hex being destroyed. So Vision will be the only one to die, whether it's magic, sacrifice. I just think that Vision will die with whenever the Hex goes down next episode, and the children will live to go on into the MCU and prosper.
See,
I want to touch on the last segment before you go ahead, AJ. Is that I think the whole connection with Vision is the essence of the Mind Stone. I think we got a glimpse of Wanda in Sokovia, and you saw it. Not only did it like react to her, I think that's part of her. So not only was she able to recreate Vision with the Mind Stone, like I think it's literally inside Scarlet Witch, and this is like the start of her being one of the most powerful mutants in the MCU moving forward. So, and I think that's also why she's also so attracted to him. I think that's all related. I think that's completely related, I think that's where he came from, is that she's got some sort of essence of the Mind Stone inside of her.
Hey, before we lose track, because AJ is our resident comic expert between the four of us, I'm not familiar with all of White Vision's history. How
neither. I was
powerful
gonna
is
ask.
he without the Infinity Stone?
I don't know. I'm at a loss.
Motherfucker.
I have no idea.
The one question we all
I'm wondering,
needed
like, what
answered.
are we gonna get? Like,
I just remember that scene where Wanda's like hovering over Vision and she's like, I can't feel him. Yeah. I think that also piggybacks off what I just said.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of thoughts. I don't know.
Okay, well, since we don't know so much, how excited were you two when you saw White Vision?
Oh my god, man! My first thought was Director Hayward, just eat a bag of dicks, because like he just went from like the biggest douchebag ever to now he's like here. Now he's like in a whole other stratosphere in terms of douchebaggery. And the fact that he lied. The fact that he wasn't deactivating Vision, he was actually putting him together and ready to launch all that bullshit, man. I'm just ready for Director Hayward to go down. But my first reaction to Ultron, I just ruined it. My first reaction to Vision is that it'll actually be Ultron. I 100% think it's Ultron 2.0. You look at like how Ultron ultimately took her brother away. It just makes complete sense because Wanda started with Ultron, and you're going to see Vision versus Ultron in this final episode. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be the most epic fight, man.
It's going to be a lot for next week. We're going to have Agatha versus Wanda. You're going to have oh my God. We're going to have Vision versus Vision. We're going to have Quicksilver versus it's going to be a lot.
No, and then you also have to remember, where does Pietro and Monica factor in? Because we don't even know what happened from that last after credit scene.
And that's why I think that Mephisto's off the table for now. I think Mephisto, whether he shows up or not, I don't think he's on the table in the finale.
I think Pietro put Monica in like one of Agatha's cells. She knows that she's there, and she's kind of just it's just like that holding for this one penultimate episode to give us all that background. I think she's honestly just being held in a cell, and Pietro is just doing minion things while we're not watching him or something like that. But dude, so does anyone have like a really good idea on who White or what his powers are for White Vision? Because
the same. It's going to be the same as Vision's powers.
Well,
I don't know. I didn't even know there was a White Vision.
So basically, it's powered by Wanda's abilities. Remember where it's powered by that machine where you see her energy like leaking out of that that machine. Yeah. So basically, it's going to be the same concept as Vision's abilities. I would say so. There's not going to be really much of a difference other than one is white and one is red and green. So
okay, you know what bothers me though? It's like, okay, maybe it's as simple as like turning off a computer, having a power outage, and turning the power back on. But I'm just curious, like, is White Vision going to have the memories, like the same thoughts, the same emotions as previous Vision? That part is just so interesting to me. Like,
or this might be a stretch right here. This definitely will be a stretch. Do we think that what's his name again? The military guy of swords.
Director Hayward?
Yeah, Hayward. So what I think Hayward took the memories from Vision pre-death Infinity War, implemented them into White Vision, and he's gonna use those memories to fuck with Wanda to make her go back and forth on who she should trust.
By the way, little quick nod. Did you guys get the Sokovia Accords nod at all? Why they were like they touched on the Sokovia Accords in this episode, where like Wanda was questioning like, why aren't you burying him? Like, why can't you like give him a proper funeral and all that kind of stuff? And they're like, well, it's our ethical right to we do this and this and this. So I think the Sokovia Accords, I do think that sword was written in that Sokovia Accords, and it also shows that Team Captain America wins every single day. Tony was wrong. What's up?
Bro, I just thought about something. I said this morning when I watched the episode. So the whole thing about Agatha being the big bad of the season, yeah, she is the big bad, but not the big villain behind the curtain. we have to think about, I think it was episode 4 when Agatha asked her if she wanted to rewind and she was completely clueless. And we've had those certain moments. It was like all pre episode 5, 6, more in the sitcom era stuff, when we would see those cuts as if someone made it to them. And Wanda's still not, she doesn't know what that is. And neither does Agatha, or she might know, but we don't know. So I don't think that Wanda is controlling everything like they still keep trying to tell us. There's still a little bit that is not her. I don't know who it is, but I don't think that Wanda and Agatha are the actual villains per se. Just to go back to like what we were saying way earlier, just hit my head. Wanted to say that.
I think it's a lot to have like you got Vision now, you got White Vision, you've got so much on the table for what, a 50-minute episode finale. To have a whole segment on Agatha raising Mephisto or something like that, I just think it's too much. I think there's too much going on to give a proper send off to Wanda saying goodbye to Vision and all that. I think it's just, there's so much going on. There's a lot to unwrap in this finale.
That's the thing, though. I don't think they're trying to make it proper. I think Marvel is completely done with a proper storyline now. I think we're going to see much more of what we're going to see with next week's episode, with not only TV shows, but with the movies, too. I feel like all these movies now are just going to have these, I don't want to say cliffhangers, per se, but more of these questions about how this is going to connect to this, or how they came into this movie at the last second, because I still think Doctor Strange is coming up sometime next episode. And I don't think that Paul Bettany was fucking with us when he said that he was wanting to work with an actor for a long time. And I just don't think it's himself. I'm going to shut up now.
I got two things, and it sucks because we kind of glazed over it earlier, but Justin in the comments mentioned that Agatha's Loki and whoever else is pulling the strings is Thanos. And I think that was my first thought when this episode finished. It's like, we didn't really move the story forward. We established that Agatha is the bad of this series. And I think the post-credit sequence will hint at who is her superior, or who is behind her, or who is behind her power for versus Wanda. I think Agatha is the bad of this series, and all of the action will revolve around freeing Wanda from Agatha.
Yeah, I think we're done with definitive answers at the end of the day. By the way, this poster is the coolest fucking poster I've ever seen, and I can't wait to buy it.
Does that not scream like they need an ending? They need an ending. If they end this series on like this massive cliffhanger, we don't know how the romance, the love story of Wanda and Vision ends, I'm gonna die, man. I will literally die.
Hey, I just saw that, man. That's beautiful. But before we didn't even get to touch Sonny's comment. Okay. AJ, if I'm correct, Photon is very similar to Captain Marvel, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I do want to backtrack on what I said about the mutants. Actually, I do believe that Monica is the first hint of mutants. Going on what Hai said, I don't think that Monica gained her abilities from Wanda, but I do believe that was activated by stress. So when we saw her go through the force field again, you just saw her like legit, like just go all over the place. I felt like that was us seeing her molecules going all over the place in like different directions.
Emerged.
Yeah, and then once she got all of that back, all of that stress, just like what's the word? It brought something into her cells that like helped her gain her abilities that was like dormant within her. I would guess either that or the powers of the stone help with that as well. So that's why I think that Wanda was the catalyst, but I
think Monica will be named the first mutant whenever they get to that point.
Did anybody get this? Justin has a good question. What was the pendant on Agatha's mom? and what was the significance? I honestly, was it just like a hex thing? What?
I don't even really know, to be honest.
I don't know either.
Yeah, no, he's right, and he says it. It's the pendant on her cape when she's like walking around. It's very prominent if you watch it again. It's like dead center on her chest. Okay. It almost looks like something from like the Neverending Story.
two things. One, what do you guys think about like Agatha's final form that we saw at the end of the episode? And two, I think the season finale is gonna end after like the Agatha battle. They kind of defeat Agatha, but Agatha causes Vision to die, and then that's when Doctor Strange comes in with the help of the fight. He comes in during the fight, he helps, but he's like, she's not the really bad person. She was only helping them, and I feel like that's how they're gonna lead into Doctor Strange 2. But yeah, guys, what do you guys think about her final villain form, and what do you think is gonna happen at the end of the episode that's gonna lead into Doctor Strange 2?
Dude, I just speaking on the look, I loved it, and also because I was listening to some of our shows prior, Deibs, you called it, but they did you one better. So instead of the witch with the cauldron and the kids in the cages, have them by the freaking throat, which I think is a lot more violent. But what also like begs the question, like Justin was asking, what I was asking, like, what are those kids to us and to Wanda? Like, what are they? You know? So I'll let you guys discuss more about where we're going. But I love the look. The look was great. I know it's going.
At least I think so.
I got a very hocus pocus vibe from the outfit, which I thought was great too.
No, it looked good. It looked very like medieval really witch, like evil classic witch look, you know?
It was so awesome, man. I remember like what I'll never forget it. I'll never like I'm watching this at like 5:30 in the morning. I was just like my jaw was dropping. Like I couldn't move. While watching this sequence. I do think they're setting up Scarlet Witch to be that like MCU Jean Grey Phoenix. I think that's what's building up. And I disagree, Ryan. I think Wanda's about to go ham. I think Wanda's about to just become absolutely beastly and just make quick work of Agatha. And I do think, I mean, this is me just hoping that we're going to see a bulk of this with Vision versus Vision. And then the last like third about Wanda dealing with and confronting the truth and letting go. That's what I hope. But honestly, dude, we need to do a live reaction, like as soon as possible.
Dude, I'll be back at my full setup next Friday, and I'm doing it. I'm staying up, dude. I'm not falling asleep 5 minutes before the episode.
I gotta ask though, because I feel like for 20 minutes, AJ has been deep in thought. Like he hasn't said much.
He's always in deep thought.
Like AJ, I need to know what's percolating in your brain, sir.
Honestly, I'm just exhausted. But I will say this. Oh God, this is depressing. I believe Billy and Tommy are going to die this last episode. I don't believe that Wanda or Vision are going to have this happy ending that Deibs believes is going to happen. Or I do believe that she will go deeper into madness, and not only would it I think it would destroy that specific area, but oh my God,
she's gonna go nuts. She's gonna go stop fucking with my kids. Let Billy and Tommy go, and boom, full Phoenix. It's coming, man. It's coming.
So I wanna end this on one really big question before we start wrapping everything up, because this was an eventful episode, but I feel like since we're getting to the finale, dude, next week's gonna be a good episode. But what do we think the post-credit scene at the end of next week's episode is going to set up? Doctor Strange 2 or Miss Marvel?
Miss Marvel. Why do you say Miss Marvel?
Because doesn't Kamala Khan live in New Jersey?
Yeah, that's true. But I don't think that's what they're setting up.
You know, I think with the fact that Wanda is confirmed for Multiverse of Madness, I think 100%, especially the way that Marvel operates, they're going to tease Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and we're not going to see it for another year or two. They're going to leave us hanging. They're going to let us get excited. And of course,
But
when the trailer for that
it'll be-
dropped, we're
it'll
gonna
be
be
like
like,
a year-
So like,
it'll be
this
a
is
year and 2
all
weeks.
part of the plan, man. Marvel knows what they're doing. They know.
but
They know what they're doing.
Spider-Man 3 is still connected to WandaVision. So we'll have
Yeah.
less than a year between WandaVision
But
and Spider-Man 3.
They also
and-
could have changed the post-credit scene the last second, because let's not forget, originally Doctor Strange was supposed to come out first before Spider-Man 3. So do we think that like really changed their outlook or how they were going to go around it?
Well,
You don't think so, AJ?
Like I said this 2 episodes ago, in my heart, I just feel like because she's going to be in the movie, there's no way this doesn't end with a cliffhanger to that film, in my opinion. It just makes sense.
I'm just confused on how Spider-Man 3 and WandaVision connect, because Spider-Man.
Sorry.
Yo, imagine fucking Tobey Maguire comes through with
You
portal
just
at the end of the episode. Dude, stop!
I literally was just about to say, like, I had this idea of like Tobey Maguire like taking off his Spider-Man
Yes.
and like looking up, and there's like this hole in the universe, and like, huh, what's that? And the credits hit, or
Please
like,
stand by. Hey, honestly, dude, I mean, it's not going to happen, but I will break my laptop if I see Tobey Maguire next week.
Bro,
I will
this is not
smash
gonna
my
happen.
laptop and film it for your enjoyment.
I feel like this is going to be Spider-Man 3 is going to be the biggest disappointment for everyone ever, for 2 reasons.
Probably.
One, if Tobey Maguire is in it, he's most likely not going to be Spider-Man. It's just going to be him in a cameo. 2, I still don't believe Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield are in it. So if one of them happens, everybody's going to be like, oh, but I thought Tobey Maguire was going to be in it. Oh, I thought he was going to be Spider-Man.
What if the end of the season, the end of the finale, they just open up a bunch of fucking dimensions?
Yeah.
And that's what kicks it off. Doctor Strange comes in with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and then Tobey's like, with great power comes great responsibility.
But if you remember in Far From Home, Doctor Strange is busy, and that was 8 months within Endgame. So it was 8 months within WandaVision. So he still might be technically busy during this time until Multiverse of Madness. That's why I don't believe that he's going to be in Spider-Man 3 or WandaVision.
I would love to see some sort of Reed Richards in space doing experiments, working with Nick Fury, or I would love to see maybe Nick Fury like talking back and forth with like Norman Osborn about the multiverse. So like set up Norman Osborn moving forward. That would be really cool. There's so many different things that come to my head. Like Latveria, could we get like a Latveria? Like,
and that stuff that you're talking about, that's like 5-6 years. And
stop it, AJ! Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it, AJ.
I want to shoot my shot and just say that I think we are all looking too deep into these so-called rumored castings. Like, what if all we see is Andrew Garfield flying by on a skateboard doing a kickflip? Tobey Maguire walks up, delivers Tom Holland a pizza, like it's pizza time. Freaking Jamie Foxx walks by and drops his folders and papers, and he's like, "Oh, I got somewhere to be," and that's it. That's it. We don't get anything else. I'm gonna laugh my freaking ass off if it's just like small off, like non-important cameos. Like
if it's Batman v Superman setting up Justice League cameo type shit, then I'll be mad. Then I'll be mad. But yeah, guys,
I actually don't remember Justice League.
Sorry, Justice what?
I don't remember Justice League at all.
No, but guys, before we wrap it up, I just want to go over a consensus on how we felt with these 8 episodes, and my dog is running on me. How do you guys feel with the finale coming up? How do you think everything has tied together so far? And do you think that we have a make it or break it finale, whether it kind of sours our opinion on what we thought about all of our theories and everything? I'm just going to let whoever wants to speak first, top of their head.
Anybody?
Okay. I thought this episode was great. I love the psychological aspect of it with Wanda and just dealing with the trauma. And it was very character based. I thought this episode was, and I really enjoyed that. I also love the reveal that the stone didn't give her powers, but she already had them, and it just amplified them. I thought that was pretty cool. It wasn't really retcon because they didn't really explain it that much in the past, so that's fine. That was fine with me. I also love the what is it called? The Christmas Carol type effect with going in the past. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's a good reference, AJ.
Yeah,
yeah, I really
past. Like, look at what you were doing then. Like,
yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Also, just us thinking about what's going to happen outside of WandaVision. I think for us is what makes the fandom great. Yeah, so yeah, I just love that. I'm gonna give it. I don't want to grade it really.
No,
really
let's save grade
Okay.
for next week now, since we're kind of at the end at this point. Loretta, what are your general thoughts on the season and episode as a whole?
I actually, because I was re-listening to some of our shows, I stand by what I said in the beginning. I think episode 1 and 2 should have just been one episode with an intermission, like for fun. But besides that, you know, we should have had an 8-episode season if that would have happened. But besides that, episode 8 is my favorite episode. Elizabeth Olsen put on an acting clinic, and we saw the full range of her emotions going through. And can I say, I think an underrated moment of this episode, besides all the Agatha stuff, all the action, and all of the reveals of her parents' trauma and all that, I love that we got to see a little bit of Civil War romance between Vision and Wanda, because as touching as their moment is in Infinity War when they're in love, it's a beautiful moment in Infinity War, but we don't ever see them fall in love. And I think that scene we saw in this episode was them like beginning to like develop that affection for each other, because she opened up to him and he sat down next to her and leveled with her as a person, not as someone to fear. And it just that scene was beautiful. And whether or not they're superheroes, the way it was written was very much like a standard romance, and it was really well done. So that was my favorite moment.
Me, I thought. What was that?
What was the quote? Like, what is grief without love persevering? Like,
Yeah.
my God, man, my heart was just like just bleeding.
This episode was very quotable.
And can I say, Paul Bettany didn't say much, but the way he looked at her, like you could feel the love like he was developing, and it's just really well done. Both Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, man.
Yeah. Deibs, any final thoughts, man?
You guys nailed it. This is an amazing, triumphant series for Marvel. I mean, obviously, it's the first major TV series. But if this is like just the appetizer of what's to come for everything moving forward with Falcon and Winter Soldier, my God, man, just really, truly, what a time to live right now as a Marvel fan, and I love it. And like a part of me wants that like massive Vision versus Vision fight scene in the finale. Like the nuts and bolts of this is Wanda. It is Wanda confronting her demons and accepting the truth and moving on. And you're probably right. There's probably going to be a massive cliffhanger. But part of me, the romantic, the optimistic part of me wants the finale to focus on character development and not only establishing and Wanda as the Scarlet Witch as like the most fearsome mutant in the MCU. But what I want to see is a proper send-off between her and Vision. Like you said, Loretto, it is Wanda Vision. So I want to see this like big budget, amazing fight scene that we saw in Endgame. I really want to see just that scene, that sequence that just tugs the heartstrings and makes this show special, which is the dynamic between Wanda and Vision. That's what I'm hoping.
Also, I want to touch on the Scarlet Witch thing real quick. The way Agatha phrased it, it sounded like there was more people like the Scarlet Witch. There was like a cult basically of many people with chaos magic, which I thought was really cool, and I really hope they explore that a lot more in the future, because in the comics we all know that basically Scarlet Witch is the only one on Earth at least that has chaos magic. But the way they're setting it up in the MCU, it sounds like there's more people that could have chaos magic, which I think is really cool.
I
don't mean to extend this, Ryan. I know you're trying to wrap things up. Well, go ahead, Dad.
Loretto's the one here who has chaos magic with his t-shirt game. That's 100%.
But okay, if you guys remember, I forgot what I was going to say earlier.
Yeah, I remember.
I freaking remembered what I was going to say.
As
and
you
it's
should.
happening. I got to say it. It's happening. So my vibe with Agatha and Wanda, call it out if I'm reaching. But just the way I felt, it reminded me of like I'm not saying Agatha's Palpatine. I'm not saying that.
I had that same
I'm not
thought.
saying
Sorry.
that. But what I'm saying is Agatha sees the ability and the potential in Wanda the same way that Palpatine saw it in Anakin. And I'm not saying Wanda's the chosen one, but that's how Agatha is speaking about her. Like she's read about her, like, oh my God, your powers. I've never seen this before.
That quote. That raw, untamed power. It's that quote from Force Awakens.
That's why she's so curious. She doesn't want to kill Wanda. She's like wants to learn about Wanda. Like, wow, you are someone I've heard about. Like,
I want to train
because if she wanted to kill her, she probably would have by now.
Doesn't Agatha serve as a mentor for her? Or is that her mom?
No, it's Agatha and Wanda that they were like a mentor to it. It was Agatha that was a mentor to Wanda. Yes,
that's awesome.
Damn, guys, 8 weeks we have been doing this, right? Dude, I can't even believe. No, not 8 weeks, 7 weeks. Sorry. Forgot the first 2 episodes came out the same day. But yeah, guys, we are already going into our 8th week, got it right this time, which is the finale, dude. It's so crazy to think that we're almost there. We got a week at this point, and it just feels like yesterday we sat down wherever we were, especially me because I'm the one who's only been changing their scenery. But dude, 7 weeks, 7 great weeks of conversations with you guys. And next week, dude, we're probably going to have a pretty long episode. There's going to be so much to talk about. So many more theories on what's going to connect to what, who's going to come into who. And I want to say I agree with Loretto. I think these episodes probably should have released 2 together, making it 6 episodes instead of 9. But that's just me. I want to personally thank you guys so much for coming out, checking out this episode.
Wait.
Pay attention.
I gotta address it. Are we gonna do the finale watch party? Because we should. Let's all fucking just stay up all night and just.
Dude, I'm gonna show you guys, bro. I got my dog just staring at me right now. Like,
yes,
don't.
Watch party. Watch party next week.
I'm down. We're doing a watch party on the channel,
and we will react to the.
We'll only do reactions, and then we'll save our thoughts, opinions, and everything for our basic review at night. And then, guys, don't forget we've got those giveaways coming in the next few weeks, starting with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, March 19th. So stay tuned. Check out the channel. Check out our Twitter for more updates for everything Suit Up Geek Fix you need. And we'll see you guys 3 a.m. Monday morning? Or no, Friday morning next week. What? See you guys next week. Hey!